welcome to Titan Upload. Sorry I'm running a little bit late today, but I first wanted to start off the show with a little tribute for Memorial Day and just remembering and honoring the ones that put their life on the line for us and just gave their life for us to have our safety and then to have a beautiful country that we have here in the United States. So just wanted to start off the show with a little bit of remembrance. Let's take a quick moment of silence for all the ones who gave their life for this country. All right. So thank you for starting off here on the show. We did hit 7K, so I don't want to make it about that today with Memorial Day, but next week at some point when we get on this, we'll have fun with it. So I owe you guys everything. Thanks again for making that possible. Hopefully y'all can hear me just fine this time. But again, shout out to you guys for making this. Like I said, when I started this, first month in, 5 subscribers, one was me, one was my wife, my aunt, my brother-in-law, you know what I mean? And we just kind of kept going, and it's been a lot of fun. So shout out again for sticking with me. A lot of guest appearances on the show, a lot of people just starting off their YouTube channel. I want to shout out Michael Rossi, Titans Rossi here, who just came up with he had his first YouTube video posted. He just texted me, by the way. He says he's got 100 views already. He's got more subscribers in a day than I had in a month when I started off. So definitely go just type in Titans Rossi on YouTube. You'll find him. And he's got a nice little 8-minute video for you to start the show. I also wanted to give Mr. Titan some love here. Mr. Titan, I tell you what, if you don't follow him, you're crazy, because Mr. Titan does have a lot of creative ideas. He's got the Ladies of Titans Twitter going to be on his show. They were supposed to be on this week. They had some issues trying to get the ladies. The one thing with the ladies, so shout out again to the ladies that represent the Tennessee Titans. The ladies are united front. They are all united. One of the ladies that was invited to the show couldn't make it. So they all said, hey, we're waiting. We want to all be on this together. So again, shout out to Mr. Titan. That's going to be on June 3rd, where it's going to be it's ladies night, right? Ladies night, as Mr. Titan put it, he's like, dude, Upload, I just want to bring on the ladies because they do serve such a huge, vital part of Titans Twitter. They have a lot of great takes. They have a lot of great viewpoints, but he just wanted to give them the credit they deserve. So shout out again to Mr. Titan. So I thought this would be a great place he just posted it. So I didn't want to honestly, I didn't even know what was going on. He had some huge guest thing going on, and who knows? I had no idea. He didn't let any of us know. And then finally it came out. So shout out again to Mr. Titan. Again, his show was pretty incredible the other night. So definitely go check that. Me, Ken Moore, Titans and Truth all on there talking Julio Jones was a lot of fun. So you're here not to necessarily celebrate 7K. You're not here to talk about anything else other than the Tennessee Titans and Julio Jones and what do we know as far as what's the latest. The story changes over and over and over. And no mute this time. No mute. So before we kind of get going with this, you know what? I want to wait till the number's a little bit higher before I play my little tribute video for Memorial Day. And then, like I said, we're going to dive into all sorts of things. If you got questions, comments, please let us know. Again, Upload, I love the long intros, but can you please talk about who? Yes, we can, Owen George. We can. So let's get right into it. Owen's not messing around, and neither are we. All right, so let's break right into it. Can you hear me all just fine? This is obviously a malfunction. We already are putting up the wrong slides. This is from the other day, right? Russini came out, said, this was on May 27th, early in the morning. Tennessee Titans are just basically a long shot. And then they kind of Jeremy Fowler gives you his top teams who had cap room. But we got a little wrinkle to that as well. And then Russini said somebody's giving up a first-round pick. Now, what we know from this is that this is complete hogwash. Like, this is not necessarily anything specific that we're talking about right now, because a lot is kind of broke, right? A lot of it has so much died down as far as what happened, but Russini's report of a first-round pick, a lot of us thought, well, the Titans are out. So if we break it down now, things are starting to heat up and things are starting to change. Remember, tomorrow night, talk about giving out another shout-out to Ken Moore. He's got Julio Jones Eve, 9 o'clock. This guy will be on there as well. Titan Upload to break down even more right before the news breaks, which we're all kind of thinking June 1st is when this obviously is going to happen. When it happens, who knows? There's been reports that could go all the way to August. It could be reports of it actually happening next week. I don't think anybody specifically knows. So as this kind of came out today, there are a couple tweets I want you to kind of pay attention to. Now, if you look at the Spot Track tweet, that one's interesting because what they're saying, okay? And I think it was one of the guys from Broadway Sports backed this up. And Jared Stillman doesn't buy it, and he's getting in some Twitter wars with some people about it. Jared Stillman says the Titans would have to do even more than this, but Spot Track's saying no. So basically what they're saying is all the Titans have to do to create that cap room, they got about 3.9, 3.6, 3.8, somewhere around there. To get to 15.6, they should be able to do it with just Ryan Tannehill. Restructuring it should create around 15.6. Jones' full contract's 15.3. So if they want to do a few other things, sure, you can have Ben Jones, you can have Taylor Lewan, you can have Saffold. I mean, you have a lot more flexibility of restructuring. Now, again, grain of salt to restructuring, because you will push that money backwards, and basically you're really going to be up against it towards the end, where you're probably not going to have the flexibility of releasing some of these guys if you want to. But if you're kind of zoned in with them, like you're probably zoned in with Ryan Tannehill, it makes sense, right? So why not, if you know you're already going to keep him for the next couple of years of his contract, just push it back a little bit. The salary cap should expand. I think the ceiling's up to $208 million, according to Titans in Truth. So you're going to get roughly, I know it doesn't have to settle there, but that's the max it can go. So you figure there's going to be more room next year and then the year after. So we got Pro Football Talk came out and said the current thinking in the league circles, the Atlanta Falcons will eventually trade Julio Jones to the Titans for a second-round pick. Now, that was big news because, again, that goes against Russini's report, who already said somebody offered a first. Jordan Schultz says one league source contends the Titans have become wary of other teams in the running for Julio Jones. So Tennessee has been very consistently pushing this offer. So this is go J-Rob here, where it's like, hey, John Robinson he looks to be all in here on Julio Jones. Doesn't seem to be overpaying, probably not going to pay that first round pick. But a lot of people have been speculating the Titans are willing to throw in a second rounder. My guess or a hunch is obviously the Falcons want a number one, but don't be surprised if the Falcons are looking for a player who could come in here and not be really that expensive, be a young guy to eventually help continue to build this rebuild going on in Atlanta. I don't know who these players are. We'll get to that later on, who we can speculate. The Goat House says the Rams are officially out. Early in the day, the Rams seem to throw their hat in the ring, but the Rams just don't have a lot of picks, and they have a lot of dead cap room, and I don't know what they're doing. And then Russini strikes again. So Russini comes back out yet again and says, hey, the Falcons continue to field calls with teams interested in Julio Jones. The Seahawks enter the discussion. In fact, Russell Wilson and Julio Jones have already talked about possibly playing together. Again, that was Russini dropping another so-called bomb, but I don't know how much we should actually buy into that, just for the simple fact that I honestly feel like, what does she really know at this point? Who knows? But anyways, that's the latest. And then if you go to Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio reports the Titans have emerged as the favorite for the trade with Julio Jones. The current expectation is the Falcons will trade Jones to the Titans again for that second-round pick. This conflicts reports with ESPN Russini, who said somebody already offered a first-round pick to land him, and the Titans were a long shot. With Atlanta facing cap pressure, it's possible that they have to settle for less than a day one pick, which means day two, day three, so second, third rounder for Julio Jones. Just throwing it out there. So I want to get to your comments. Thanks again for being here on Titan Upload. It used to be Titan Upload Live. We are now officially called Upload Live. Just, yeah, that's what we're going to do, and just keep it simple, all those kind of things. Did want to throw this on there really quick with Julio being the favorites. Again, comment. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Some of you have already said you are not excited because you wanted to come out of nowhere and pounce on the situation and take Julio Jones instead of being kind of floated out there. Now, the Titans have been very, and I love that report with the consistent, right? They're consistently pushing forward with trying to grab him, but not overpaying. There's a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of junk. So I want to get to your comments. Backyard Dog says, yo, Upload. I think we really, I think we could get Julio. Remember, Atlanta is on the right outside of Nashville. Julio doesn't have to move very far. And again, that's a nice perk. Location, but it seems, so another report was the Titans and the Patriots seem to be the ones that are kind of his destination choice. Now, he doesn't have a no trade clause, so he doesn't have an option, and Atlanta doesn't have to listen to him if they don't want to. Now, they could, but they don't have to. So the Patriots were another name, according to Pro Football Talk, that said, listen, the Patriots may not be right there right now, but never underestimate what they're capable of. I already gave you out some of the things with the Patriots having a lot of cap room. They could use another receiver. I know that they got some quarterback concerns. Are they going Cam Newton? Are they going Mac Jones? They got a bunch of people that are coming back from the team from last year who basically sat out the year for the sickness, and they did a heck of a lot. They're doing the double tight end now with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. They spent a ton of money in free agency, most ever that they spent, I believe. So they definitely have Brady in their sights. They want to win a Super Bowl. That's pretty obvious. So this would be another move to help New England. Now, again, I have to float this out there, and then I'll get some more of your comments. The big issue here, and it makes total sense. We broke this down. We'll break it down one more time. If they cut Julio Jones post June 1st, they are still in a world of hurt. They are going to take a massive cap hit. And it's not going to get pretty, so to speak. So again, just kind of throwing it out here. Julio Jones contract. I did want to throw that up there one more time just to kind of let you know, because this is going to get really dicey and slicey here, or whatever you want to say. That's probably not a very... So when we look at it post June 1st, a cut would cost Atlanta $2 million, plus they have a $25 million cap hit. That is not happening. They are not releasing him, okay? There was some talk. We talked about that a little bit, of being maybe a side thing to change the game for, how they let J.J. Watt go. They are not letting him go. So that means they got to find some team to bring him in. Now, the perk of this, why Atlanta wants to do this, if they find a trading partner, they would save roughly $15.3 million off the cap. Now, that will not go away. It doesn't matter if it's the Titans. It doesn't matter if it's New England. It doesn't matter if it's the Chicago Bears. It doesn't matter where they trade them to. That team will suck up that $15.3 million cap hit. That's why the whole thing with Spot Track and restructuring Ryan Tannehill makes sense. And that's probably what they're going to do. That's probably the first thing they're going to do. And if I'm reading between the lines and kind of those kind of things, I'm kind of feeling like Ryan Tannehill is going to be the guy, and they already know, and Ryan already knows it, and that's the way they're going to do it. So when you look at it from that point. Now, the issue comes into play too with the second year. So sure, this year, 2021, you will have to pay him 15.3. Next year, though, you're only going to have to pay him 11.5. But, there's a but there. You only are responsible, the 11.5 cap hit, to pay $2 million. So in theory, if you wanted to trade him next year, if you wanted to release him, you're only out $2 million. It's this year that you're going to take a big hit. So on one end, I understand the concern, and I think that's why they're having a difficult time finding a first-round trade offer for them, even though Russini says there's one, which magically just disappeared, right? Maybe a team got scared, right? Who knows? Maybe Atlanta was trying to trade, and who knows, their own guy for their own first-round pick. Who knows? But I think when you really kind of face the facts in this situation, the Titans or any other team that trades for them, what's going to be nice is the second and third year. You're going to have him for a 3-year, $38 million deal, but years 2 and 3, you get him for $11.5 million. And yes, he's getting older. He'll be 33, 34. But if he continues to what he's done his entire career, other than the 2 years where he got hurt, man, we'll dive more into Julio Jones. But let's get to your comments. Again, thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tighten up that like button, as we are right now at 79 likes already. We're off and we're running. Here we go. So the last time he said, hey, Upload doesn't read his comments. I read my comments. I just kind of try to start some things and get into it right away. Although this time, yeah, we had some things we had to get through. Al, shout out to Al. Says congrats on the 7K. Bruce says like Oiler Titan comment. Oiler Titan comment, there's only one team, Titans, in the league, whose running back is so unstoppable. Takes 9 people in the box to stop him. That leaves one-on-ones for 2 of the best receivers in the NFL, Brown and Jones. I like it. And then I love the comment. Thank you, Oiler Titan. But that is a nice recipe tribute video, and we will get right into more Julio Jones in your comments. Titan Upload. I just wanted to start off the show by honoring all the men and women of this beautiful country who've given their life for us to keep us safe. So again, thank you. Have a happy Memorial Day. God bless, and Titan. So again, like I said, just honoring, remembering those here on this Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're able, or maybe you've already been celebrating as far as being together and remembering, honoring together as a family with your friends and family already, cookouts, all those kind of things. Or maybe it's going to happen tomorrow. But like I said, if you're bored tomorrow night and you're getting ready to start your week, don't forget Ken Moore is hosting a Julio Jones Eve party. So I'm going to be there. It'll be a couple of my buddies, and we're going to talk more Julio Jones, possibly post June 1st, as it's right around the corner. So again, almost 200 of you in the house right now, 196, 97 likes, so close to 100. But again, I wanted to start the show off today, and obviously the Titans, are you buying that they're a favorite? You know, me personally, I don't know if I'm buying that, but what I think about it is why it's important, why it's relevant. There really hasn't been any other team that they have consistently brought up day after day after day. Now, caution, yes, over 100. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What I can say is this. I feel like the Titans were used in the Brady situation. Part of me today when I was driving thinking about, hey, you know, how's this show going to go? Thank you for all those people that did vote. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted a show tonight. I'm not sure if you guys are sick of talking about Julio Jones or not. But the one thing I kind of was thinking about, is there anything that with Arthur Smith, Dean Pease, are there any favors going on right now? Are there any like, hey, John Robinson, the GM from the Falcons is sitting there with Arthur Smith and they're calling him up and they're like, hey, Do you think you guys could help us out? Could you kind of be the team? Because the reason why I say that, and I'm not buying that for any, I'm just thinking outside of the box here, but the Tennessee Titans usually don't let anything out. So yes, this is definitely coming from Atlanta. Mr. Smith just subscribed. Thank you, Mr. Smith. This is definitely coming from Atlanta. So that makes sense to me. But usually if you're thinking John Robinson and how he goes about business, it's pretty clear. Cole, thank you for subscribing. It's pretty clear that you don't, hey, if we're going to have discussions, I don't want you going out and blabbing about it. We saw this with the Rams. I mean, for crying out loud, Vrabel and the GM from the Rams were going to the bathroom at the combine, and they were talking about trading the Titans' #1 pick to the Rams, which were number 15 that year. They were talking about it then. We didn't hear about it for weeks. Reverse, thank you for subscribing. I'm only getting to see half of these. But they went weeks. And then finally it came out the Titans were trading. It came out of nowhere. Like, we had no idea. We knew they were thinking about trading the first-round pick. We had no idea they were even talking to the Rams. It's been totally different this time. We hear nothing but Titans over and over and over. Also, Derrick Henry, last year, bringing up one more time. Remember Derrick Henry. They came out, Adam Schefter, the Titans and Derrick Henry are probably not going to get a deal. They are too far apart. And basically, Derrick Henry is going to go into the season playing under that franchise tag. I came out with a video, done deal. Next day, I think it was, maybe it was the day after, they already came to an agreement and signed a 4-year deal. So we've heard Robinson at the combine talk about Ryan Tannehill, and he didn't really give him a lot of endorsements, but he loved Derrick Henry. Remember that whole thing? So I guess my point to you is, yes, Pro Football Talk comes out and says, yes, the Titans are the new favorite, but I'm just a little cautious on it. But I think we should be a little bit intrigued by it because Russini, just the last time we were on, said, yeah, the Titans are a long shot. A couple things aren't true. Number one, it doesn't seem like the Titans. James, thank you for subscribing. It doesn't seem like the Titans are a long shot now. They're right in the thick of things, okay? Vegas agrees with me on this one. Titans were top 3. Rams came out of nowhere. Plus 1,500, jumped all the way up to like plus 400 or 500. They were right with us or right above us. Today, apparently the Rams are officially out already. That was short-lived. So these things change. We know they change. The 49ers, I heard they're not really interested anymore. We've heard a lot of connection because of their head coach and used to be an Atlanta offensive coordinator. 49ers have always been there. But we've also heard that the Atlanta Falcons don't want to trade anybody in the NFC. They want them to go in the AFC. Titans play in the AFC. So, Jeanette, thank you for subscribing. So again, I'm optimistic. I'm positive. I think we're going to do it. I really do. I know that you guys are obviously excited for the most part, so you can definitely, King, thank you for subscribing. You can get me into your comments. We're going to go through them right now. Okay, appreciate it. I got some stats I wanted to go over. I did this on Mr. Titan Show. I want to do it with you. I do want to kind of call out the people that say he's always injured. But let's get into your comments right now. So we'll switch up the screen here. Again, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Switch it up. Switch it up. Switch it up. All right. So let's get into this. All right. So that guy who people hate, told you we were just trying to drum up the market. Good point. Good point. Jake in the house. Tighten up from Altoona, Alabama. Shout out to you, Jake. Thanks for stopping by. TSR video says we're getting Julio. Jay says, do the Seahawks even have a first-round pick next season? That's a good one. As far as I know right now, the Seattle Seahawks could be having a little bit, of a second-round thing going on. We don't really know. Dylan, thank you for subscribing. So we know last year, the Jamal Adams trade, the Seahawks did give up their #1 pick. So we do have that. So, again, for next year, They traded for, so the Jets have that. They have a round 2, round 3, and a round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7. Now, this could be a future pick. 2023, they do have a first-round pick. I think this is going to be an interesting thing. I really do. I think there's either going to be a player involved of some sort to kind of break the ice. I mean, if you're picking and choosing top 2 second-round picks, I mean, if you're Atlanta, would you rather go with the Titans? Or would you rather go with the Seahawks? Who do you think are better? That's a real. I mean, I think they're both really, really good. And I think both of them could go far, and I think both of them are an injury away from something bad happening. You know what I mean? So, again, we'll see what happens. But, it is interesting to see how this all thing's going to play out here. C-Dub, I'm telling you, Seattle came in after we offered a second, and we are considered the favorites. Doesn't shock me at all. Seahawks don't even have a first for 2022. Yes, Talking the Kids, Universal, Busch Gardens this week. Richard in the house says, what's up, Upload? Been a while since I've been back. How are you doing? Family, I hope you are all well. Hey, we hope you're well too, Richard. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate it. Oiler Titan, when Chargers, Patriots, 49ers, Ravens all talk, landing Julio, everyone is fine with that. Bring up the Titans, Julio's best fit. Ryan Clark, Bart Scott, Marcus Spears, throw tantrum. It doesn't shock me at all. Thank you for leaving me that comment. But, again, it doesn't. Valdez, thanks for subscribing. I'm having some issues with that, so I'm going to shut that down for a minute. But, yeah, the media doesn't want the Titans. I've kind of, if you follow me hopefully you follow me on Instagram, Titan Upload 27, Twitter, at Titan Upload 27, the TNL are capitalized. But, again, when you look at it and how it all kind of shapes up, right? Again, the media on NFL Network or NFL.com even listed like the 3 or 4 best fits for Julio Jones. I don't know how you cannot look at the Tennessee Titans and think he will not fit this team. I mean, I really don't. You got to be just totally uneducated when it comes to NFL football and rosters to be able to put the Titans and say, yeah, we don't need them. We got rid of Corey Davis. We got rid of Jonnu Smith. And we really didn't replace them. Yeah, we replaced them with Josh Reynolds, which in a perfect world, he's a 3. We're going to try him out as a 2. And I know some of you are really excited about that. And I'm still, okay, let's show us what you can do, Josh Reynolds. And then Des Fitzpatrick, I'm up front with you. I'm not sold on this at all. I'm not one of the guys that's tooting this horn by any means. Now, it's a rookie, and he's a 4th-round pick, so the team traded up for him, which is, I mean, that's fine, whatever. But rookies, I've kind of mentioned this before, they get injured. I didn't even bring up Nate Davis, but we had Evans. We've had Corey Davis. Look how many times Adoree Jackson got hurt. I mean, the list goes on and on. Christian Fulton, you guys mentioned last time. There's a lot of picks for the Titans that get hurt. There's just first rounders. I'm not first rounders, but draft picks in general, when they transition to the NFL, a lot of them do pull maybe a hamstring or a muscle here or there, and they're out for a little bit of time, and they can't miss. I mean, they literally can't miss, or they fall so far behind. So for us to put all our eggs in one basket with Des Fitzpatrick as the 3, I'm just telling you, I'm not sold on that yet. Now, I could change my mind based on how he plays. I want to see him play, but I don't think you can get on me for that. Just like I'm not going to get on for you for being really, really optimistic. But I think Julio Jones fits this offense perfectly. It really does. He can go deep. I want to go through his career stats with you real quick, okay? So I won't bore you with early on, but let's just talk about from 2014, okay? 2014, he had 1,593 yards. The next year, he had 1,871 yards. The year after that, he had 1,409. Again, 2017, 1,444. 2018, 1,677. 2019, 1,394. Last year, only played in 9 games and still had 771. I made this point on Mr. Titan Show. I'll make it again. We are hoping that Reynolds gives you 771 yards. Now, we want a little bit more than that, but we're hoping that is the case. Julio Jones did it in 9 stinking games. Go back up there. The year he had 5 games he played, 2013, he got hurt. He only played in 5 games, still had 580 yards. My point, wouldn't it be nice if Des Fitzpatrick could get 590 some yards? Julio did it in 5 stinking games. So, again, I am just super thrilled that we were even in the conversation to get a Julio Jones. Like, I'm very thrilled. The argument I hear is injuries. Oh, upload, he's going to get hurt. You know, he's been hurt. He's declining, right? He's 32. He's hurt. So I'm like, okay. I go back and look at these stats, and I'm like, something's not adding up here. 2014, 15 games he played. 2016, 2015, 16 for 16. 2016, 14 games he played. 2017, 16. 2018, 16. 2019, 15. And then last year, 9. Where's the injury concern? Oh, because he missed a couple games? Okay. Corey Davis missed a couple games. A.J. Brown missed a couple games. And they still should have. You know, A.J. Brown got over 1,000. Corey should have as well. So you could give me 14, 15 games from Julio Jones. Heck, I'll take 13 if he's putting up these freaking stats. Yeah, he doesn't score touchdowns. And I hear Titans and Truth and some of these guys that will say, shout out to Titans Truth. He does a great job. But Titans and Truth makes a good point. He doesn't get in the end zone. You get down to the red zone, Julio Jones is not, he averages 6 touchdowns. Okay? He's averaging 6 touchdowns a season. It's not a lot of touchdowns. But when you're getting 18, 17, 16, 15, 1,400 yards, when you're getting that many yards, you are putting the Titans into the red zone, which, for that matter, the Titans over the last 2 years have ranked up towards number 1 in red zone efficiency. So, again, the Titans, Julio Jones, makes sense. Makes sense. Timothy, tighten up to you as well. Do I want the Titans to get to the AFC Championship game again? And I go back and forth, back and forth. You know the thing I really, really want? And I think we all want it. We want not only to get to the Super Bowl for the second time, we want to win the darn thing. We want to win a freaking Super Bowl. So when we're hanging out with Steeler fans and Cowboy fans, they can't say, well, how many Super Bowls you got? And the worst are the Bear fans. Hey, we won a Super Bowl in 1985, best defense. Huh? Okay, you did. And you went to 2 Super Bowls. You lost 1, you won 1. Bills fans will argue about how great they are. They've been to 4 Super Bowls, they lost all of them. But my point is this. It would be nice if the Tennessee Titans could be one of the teams that are left, one of the few who win one. So if that's what we all want, I'm just saying, then you have to ask yourself, is Julio Jones the missing piece? Is Julio Jones the one that's going to take us from division championship to Super Bowl? I think there's a lot of question marks with this team. I think there's some question marks on the defense. I think there's question marks on the offense. But I'm telling you, you have Derrick Henry. You're only going to have Derrick Henry for a couple more years in his prime. And this could be, along with next year, could be the last go-getting years with Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill, I think he's going to be fine. A.J. Brown's in his prime. I think you're going to have big years from Kevin Byard. I think Evans is going to take a step up this year. I think Landry is going to be helped out with Bud Dupree. I think Autry is going to be a nice addition. I think Tier Tart is going to be able to step up and continue to improve. I heard from OTAs he's in really good shape. He looks a lot more lean and fit coming into camp this year. And again, this isn't a guy who came in here and just slacked off last year. This was an undrafted free agent. Him and Kobe Smith from South Carolina both made it to the practice squad. They didn't get any preseason games, and these guys continue to fight and claw all year long, and Tier Tart ended up the one getting the call. So when Tier Tart came up, Tier Tart, basically, besides stepping on somebody's face, did a really good job in the time he got to play. I'd love to see Murchison step up this year, but I'm not really counting on those kind of things. So, again, the Titans could go out and restructure somebody else and bring in somebody on the defensive line. We still have a lot of opportunities during the training camp when players and veterans get cut or released to save more money, and then the Titans could swoop up and kind of build their roster. You know, Zach Ertz, you guys are talking about maybe he could come in as a trade option. I know he gets hurt sometimes as well. I'd love Tyler Eifert. If you watch this show, you know how big of a fan I am. I think he could do some good things for the Titans. I know Ferkser's going to hopefully have a great year this year, and he's going to be able to be accounted on. I mean, there's no reason why I should question Ferkser other than maybe the full-time load. Can he handle it? Is he going to be able to play multiple formations and blocking situations? That's yet to be determined. But Titans Talk said, thoughts on Evans working out as a wide receiver. I did see that. And the first thing that comes to my mind is they are going to use him more and more out of the backfield. You know, they might shift him out wide. They might run wide receiver, obviously, routes with him and put him in different versatile positions, scheming with the offense. Are they going to line him up as the number 3 receiver sometimes? I'm not sure about that kind of stuff. I mean, he could. But what I do notice is there's a lot of guys on there. There's a lot of guys for at the wide receiver position. And you obviously have A.J. Brown, so you got a stud. You got a top 10 wide receiver right there. But other than that, everything's question marks, even if you want to bring up Reynolds. So, you know, Reynolds, if anything happened to A.J. Brown, Reynolds would be your number 1. Des Fitzpatrick would be your number 2. How do you think that's really going to go? You know, A.J. Brown was one that had all sorts of foot problems this year. Every game he'd get hit, or he wouldn't even get hit, and he'd be on the ground in pain, and he would get up, and he would fight, and he would claw, and he would give you everything he had. I love A.J. Brown, okay? I love A.J. Brown. So when he's doing those kind of things, but you do kind of hold on, and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, how many watch parties where I'm sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, is he out? Is he done? And he would come back out of nowhere, and then he'd put up great stats and do a great job. So, again, Julio Jones, we're hoping he's going to be. But to go to my point, if you want to take that step, you want to get to the Super Bowl, you want to win the thing. Have you seen your roster compared to the Chiefs? Have you seen your roster compared to the Browns? Come on. Like, seriously. Go for it. Go for it. You got nothing to lose in this situation. The media doesn't. I mean, how many power rankings have come out so far, and the Titans are actually out of the top 15? You know, there are some where they're 9 or they're 10, but there is a good chunk of them where people just aren't going to respect the Titans, and that's never going to change. I mean, Colts fans think they already won the division. Other than Jason Spears, who we have on from the Culture, who still says, hey, until someone beats the Titans, they're going to win. He's got us winning the division. But most Colts fan, if you're in here, Colts fans, you can talk. I mean, you're already, hey, Wentz, we're going to win this division easy, right? And I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to be easy, but you land Julio Jones, we're talking game changer. This isn't Randy Moss. Randy Moss, if we could have got him from Oakland, that would have been tremendous. But getting him after he already went to New England and then went to Minnesota, and then we got him for half a year and Fisher didn't want to throw him the ball, it's not the same guy. Football fan, what's going on? It isn't up to him. CJ, what's going on? Isaiah King, how's it going? Hey, Titans and Truth in the house. Tighten up, he says. Yeah, Titans and Truth. Definitely go follow him. We got to get him over 1,000. I mean, this guy, dedication. This guy bleeds two-tone blue. I mean, he's in the Memphis area. I mean, he's got the Memphis Grizzlies going on. But, I mean, he is a diehard Titans fan. And, man, he is usually way more optimistic. But what I love about Truth, what I love about Ken Moore and Mr. Titan and NGB Talk, okay, and the list goes on and on and on. But what I love about those guys is for the fact that they bring you what they feel is true. They don't sugarcoat it. They don't tell you everything you want to hear. You know, if this Julio Jones thing happens, great. But if it doesn't happen, I mean, it's already going on. You know, when the Titans were kind of the long shot, people go, hey, we don't need Julio Jones. We got Josh Reynolds. And then now we're back. Oh, hey, Julio Jones. He'd be a great addition. So, again, it fires me up a little bit. Don't forget to tighten up that like button. We are at 286. I believe we went over 300 today already. So, shout out to you guys for stopping by. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Just went over 7,000. And it's been great. So, and again, I couldn't have done it without you guys. And like I said, we went over 7,000. So, if you like NFL, you like Titans, you just like to talk AFC South, this is your place. Sean O'Brien, super chat. Think of it this way, Titans fans. It's better to grab Julio than to let your division rivals. And that I love that you're getting a clap for that one. Shout out to you, Sean. Sean makes a great point. The Colts sneak in here and grab him. We went over this the other day. I mean, this thing could turn into a nightmare real quick. So we don't want any of that to happen. But thanks again for the super chat. I just feel like the Titans are in a prime position to make some freaky noise here in the offseason. This isn't Clowney. This is a guy who is going to come in. And honestly, I don't know who your number one is really going to be during the season stat-wise. Like, I can't tell you if Julio Jones and A.J. Brown both play full amount. They both play, let's say, 16 of the 17 games. We'll give them a game off. But if they play 16 games, I can't tell you who I think's going to have more yards. And I can tell you A.J. Brown's probably getting more touchdowns. And if I was betting, which I don't bet, but if I was going to bet, I probably would pick A.J. Brown because he's in his prime. He's younger. But I'm telling you, Julio Jones is not just some random dude off the street. Julio Jones is not some like 38-year-old wide receiver. Like, I don't even know how old Randy Moss was when he came in. I mean, Julio Jones, I just went over the stats with you before. There's been 3 times in 10 years in his 10-year career that he had under 1,000 yards. 3 times. That means 7 times he went over 1,000. 1 year at 1,800, 1 year at 1,600, 1 year at 14, 1 year at 1,500. I mean, the guy puts up stats. And we got Derrick Henry to get us to the wins. We got Ryan Tannehill to make plays in key positions, especially with his legs or his arm. We're hoping the defense. It's not going to all fall on Julio Jones. Not to mention we got A.J. Brown, and Ferkser can score some touchdowns in the red zone as well. So, again, I honestly feel like this is going to be a good decision if it happens. Is it going to happen? Well, that's another thing. The other thing I wanted to get into with you guys, okay, is I want to play kind of, hey, you're the GM. So if you're John Robinson, what would you be willing to give up? This is your time to shine. This is probably your last time you're going to be able to say this on Titan Upload before the trade happens, right? If it happens, like everyone's predicting, sometime early next week, we're probably not going to have another show until that actually goes down. So here's your last chance to what you really would give up. Because one of the arguments and one of the discussions we're going to have as a community is, did the Titans get it right? Whether that's not trading for him, whether that's not raising the price, whether we gave up too much to land him. We're going to have a very fun, interesting conversation. So I just want to get a feel where you are right now, because I don't want to backtrack and then everybody kind of change their tune. So I'm putting you on the spot. Interesting that they are being creative with Evans. Don't get me wrong with Darrington Evans. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I mean, I don't have any sources on this, but there's a couple things that's pointing me to think, that the Tennessee Titans, now if Julio Jones comes in, all bets are off. But if we're not going to go with anybody else, no Golden Tate, no random player that's not on a team right now, and we're going to go with what we got. I mean, I've seen a lot of Hollister. Hollister will give you a little bit of a height advantage. Reynolds, I believe, is How tall is Reynolds? I mean, he's over 5. He's like 6 foot. Is he 6'1", 6'2", something like that? So he gives you a little bit of height. Des Fitzpatrick, I'm not sure how tall he is. So when you look at the roster, Cam Batson, Westbrook, I mean, then you got some of these other guys that we picked up from the Colts and some of these other places. But the one name that is very intriguing and interesting to me, and you know what I'm going to say, so Tighten Up can go ahead and say it all he wants, but I honestly feel that if we go as is, do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if number 12 makes the final roster as the 6th or 5th wide receiver. I'm just telling you. He's got one look at social media where Jim White actually brought him up, and thank you for those of you on Twitter that shouted that out to me yesterday. It was one route. That's it. He was at rookie minicamp. He was invited because he didn't get a chance to last year. He played most of the season on the New England Patriots practice squad. He came to the Titans at the very end of the season for a tryout with Rashard Davis or whatever his name is. Davis made the practice team. Kinsey didn't. But at the end of the year, Kinsey gets the futures deal. And what was it? A couple weeks ago, they made some roster moves, and Davis was cut. That's interesting to me, okay? Why is Kinsey still here if Kinsey was beat out by Davis to get on the practice squad at the end of the year, and Davis returned kicks during that playoff run to the AFC Championship game, and Davis actually has been on the field. Kinsey hasn't been. The other interesting thing is, why is Kinsey going to New England? Why did that work out? Was there a connection between John Robinson and Bill Belichick there? I mean, what was going on? And then now he comes back. I mean, how many other guys did they bring back who they released? Can you name any? Because I sure can't. There's got to be a reason he's here. There just has to be a reason. So, as of now, unless he royally screws something up, which I don't see it happening, okay? I think they've seen enough. I think they're very excited about him. We'll see. We'll see, though. A lot of you are sleeping on that idea. I'm just telling you. Who's been brought back? Nobody that I can think of. Wire Rat, no one has to restructure for Julio. Just sign him to a multi-years, push the cap hit out. Now, I haven't heard that. Now, that is interesting, Wire Rat. I don't know if they can. I don't know. Because I do know that I've heard Julio's going to want a new deal after this year. He's not going to want to play for 11.5. So that will come up at some point. If he's good. I mean, if he comes in here and he's not that great, he doesn't put up great stats, the Titans can probably release him. So we'll have to kind of see and wait on that one. But I have not heard that. That's an interesting one. Keisha says, TNT, I'm always great when I talk with Titans. Steven in the house, our window is closing, so go get him and let's keep the window open for a couple years. Titans NM says, no risk, no biscuit. Jeremiah, you missed 100 shots you don't take. That's a good point. I like that, Jeremiah. I'm going to have to get that on like a bumper sticker or something. That's good. Titans could restructure Tannehill's contract. Let's see. Cody says Julio out of the question unless they have to restructure. They are. I'm going to go ahead and put this on there one more time. So again, Spot Track came out with this. If you're just joining us, it says simple base salary restructure for Ryan Tannehill without voided years would free up $15.6 million against the cap. That would allow Julio Jones to come in at that 15.3. Keep in mind the Titans already have like $3.6, $3.7 million for the cap right now. So they would be well. I mean, they could go out and do maybe one more piece. Maybe they could go fix the defensive line a little bit. Maybe they can go out and get a Tyler Eifert for cheap. So they do get a lot of flexibility. And who knows? Maybe they even restructure somebody else. Now, Jared Stillman's getting into it, and people are fighting with him, and they're going back and forth. Jared says, no, this is totally not true. And people are getting on to him. Yeah, Spot Track's not true, huh, Jared? What do you know? Now, Jared, to give him some credit here, Jared Stillman is, I'm not sure how close he still is with Floyd Reese, but I will tell you this. Jared, when Jared was by himself before Floyd, Jared would just tell you what he thinks. And to be honest, Jared has a place with me because Jared at least is a Titans fan. Like, nobody else can really boast about that. You know, Buck Rising can't, PK can't, Davenport can't. Now, I'm not saying these guys are bad dudes or anything. I'm just saying, like, these guys are doing their job. And sometimes that's fine. But sometimes I want to hear it from a Titans perspective. And I think that's why we have fun on this show, is because we get to see a lot of different opinions. And we just don't get the ones coming from somebody just doing their job, right? So I do, it puts a little more emotion into it, but it also puts some more like different takes as far as, because, you know, I mean, Jared's been a fan since they've moved to Nashville. But when you come to salary cap stuff, unless he's getting information from Floyd Reese, I don't know, man. I think he's kind of outdid himself on this one. One a steal. Ferkser will be fine. When the Titans lost Walker Smith, they filled just fine. Julio will help Ferkser like Delaney Walker. It's a good point. Maybe. Dylan, I'm not sure you're aware of the fact Julio wants to come to the Titans. That's a good point, too. Keep projecting the Titans to go 500 over every year. Rams, I hope you guys get Julio. So I'm not sure what happened with the Rams. Rams house, if you want to let us know, was it just kind of like a front? Was it fake? I mean, the Rams just came out of nowhere today, right? They just came out of nowhere today. And then now all of a sudden they're out of it. Mark Jones in the house. Positivity is the key. You think and believe that Julio is coming, speak itself in existence. I like it. And I am more upbeat about Julio Jones. I'm not coming in here and telling you, oh, we're not going to get him. And if we don't get him now, I'm going to be a little upset about it, right? Because I'm looking at my roster. Rams House says, Reynolds was okay with us. I hope he does better with you. Ram House, please elaborate on that. That doesn't sound very good. Like, because there are a lot of Titan fans that are already sold in or sold out or whatever you want to say, bought in to Josh Reynolds doing just as well as Corey Davis. Now, they'll tell you, hey, he's not as good as Corey, but he can do just as good as Corey. And to be honest with you, this is why I love getting in discussions with you guys, because I do see your point. Reynolds is costing us like $1 million. I mean, it's a great deal for John Robinson. So it's really hard for me to get on that right now, like $1 million. But when you go on that field, I don't see dollar signs. I mean, I know, Derrick Henry is probably our best player. And he's not even getting paid the best. I mean, he's not even close to getting paid the best. I wonder where his deal comes in with everybody else. I think Lawan's over him. I want to say Byard's over him. We definitely know Tannehill's over him. And I'm just telling you, that does not equivalent. Money does not equivalent to how good you are. Billy says, forget about Julio. We need to re-sign Will Compton ASAP. Well, they're more worried about what's going on with Barstool at this point. I mean, they've had a lot of stuff come out. For the thumbs down. What's up, dude? What's up with you? Who else is out there that you can go get? Who else is out there that you can go trade for? Anthony Miller from the Bears. It just doesn't have the same it doesn't have the same feel. I feel like Anthony Miller would be a nice piece for a 3. But I just don't see Anthony Miller being a 2. Some teams have number 2 wideouts as number 1s, or 2 number 1 wideouts. I think Henry will not miss a beat this year. I hope you're right. I do hope you're right. Aaron just topped in. We got to get that. Yes, we do, Aaron. Shout out to you, Aaron Foster. Lunchbox, would you take a first-round pick or 2 second-round picks? Man, where the Titans, we don't know where they're going to draft. We went through this last time. Thanks again for being here. We are an hour and 4 minutes. We'll probably only go about 10, 15 more minutes. We got 288 in the house. Don't forget to tighten up that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like I said, we went over 7K, and I do owe you guys thanks. All that you guys do for this channel and making it the best that it can be. And I do. I reinvest everything, all your super chats into this thing. And like I said, your comments and you guys make this thing rock. So applause to all of you guys. So thank you so much for making this happen. But anyway, so going back to you guys, like, I think right now you have to look at it from this point. On 1 point, first round pick, in theory, the Titans should be drafting in the late 20s. I mean, you land Julio Jones and he plays, and you don't have any of these injuries that pop up out of the woodwork, and Ryan Tannehill can get you through the season. Derrick Henry stays upright and he gets you through the season. A.J. Brown plays most of the games. Let's say he plays 14 of the 17 games. Defense doesn't have a season-ending injury. Lewan's able to play most of the games. And maybe you kind of have an injury here or there, but you're able to. The Titans should be drafting in the late first round. I mean, if they aren't, you're going to have to ask questions from Vrabel. I mean, you are. That roster, that team should be really, really good. But I do have to caution you, because if you do trade for Julio Jones and give up a first-round pick, Ryan Tannehill goes down in week 2, knock on wood. But if he does, how many games are we winning? How many games Woodside winning? Because I'm telling you right up front, we got in this discussion on Mr. Titan's channel with me, Ken Moore, and Titans in Truth, and Mr. Titan. But like I said, we got in this discussion like, Logan Woodside's going to be your second. He's going to be your backup quarterback. I know there's been reports that Kaiser's looked really, really good. I'm not buying that right now, because especially coming from some of the local media and stuff, they said Khalif Raymond looked great last year, and he was like going to be just have a phenomenal season. We didn't really hear about him in week 1, week 2, week 3. We did hear from him. He had a great week 3, but then that was it for him. That was really it for him. So my point is, I'm not going to put a lot into OTAs. I'm not going to put a lot into rookie minicamps. But, man, if anything ever happened to him, to Tannehill, we're in trouble. And then if anything happens to Derrick Henry, knock on wood, we're also in trouble. I just don't feel like Darrington Evans is going to be able to do the things that makes our offense gel. Now, at least with Evans, we would have more of a shot to do well. I mean, you still have A.J. Brown. You still have Julio Jones. Defense hopefully upgrades. Kind of revolves more about that quarterback position. And then the other thing is, if anything ever happens to A.J. Brown or Julio Jones, we're right back in the same spot we were in. So then we're talking, now we're drafting maybe earlier in the first round. Maybe we got a top 10 pick. And that would be, it's just a risk you have to take. I mean, it's a risk you have to take. Some of you do this where, there's all sorts of bad things that can happen to you. There's bad things that can happen to you when you sleep. There's bad things that can happen to you when you walk or go up or down the stairs and get in a car, get on your phone and you're doing something, ride the lawnmower. I mean, nothing's guaranteed in life, right? Nothing is guaranteed in life. So my point is this: you can just sit in the basement all day and do nothing, or you can walk outside and just go do something. Go have fun, try to do something. There's always going to be a little bit of a risk there. With this, like, I understand, but what else are you doing? That's my point. Is the roster good enough right now to win a Super Bowl? If the answer is no, then what are we doing here? I mean, what are we doing here? I'm at the point right now where, the White Sox, I love the White Sox, my favorite baseball team, so I do apologize if you don't like the Chicago White Sox, but 2005 was a great season. They put everything together. They won one. I understand we can put things together and have a great season like 2008, okay? 2000, we had a great season. 1999, we obviously made the Super Bowl. 2000, we came back, we were better that year, but we had a great season. But how many other years can you think of? There were a couple playoff little runs winning the division with Steve McNair, right? Obviously, 2003, maybe 2004 in that area, especially when we started one year, we were like 1-4 or 1-5, and we ended up winning all those games in a row. We ended up losing to the Raiders in the AFC Championship game. But as you kind of progress out since 2008, we've won the division one time. It was last year. We've had, over the last 5 years or whatever, we've had winning seasons. We've been to one AFC Championship game, but that's it. I mean, no Super Bowls, none of that. So again, I'm okay with taking a risk at this point. Again, you're not going to have Derrick Henry for that long. I mean, You'll have him this year. You'll have him next year. And we're hoping the third year of his final year of his contract, should be his fourth year, that he's going to be able to do something and not be worn down. So we'll see what happens. Log says hopefully no more than a third-round pick. Whatever it takes, you guys are saying. Coca-Cola, what's popping to you as well, man? Thanks for stopping by. Comic God, I would give up a first-round pick and Evans. Backyard Dog says Tannehill, Evans, Hill. Let's see, Tannehill, Henry, Evans, Hill, Brown, Jones, Reynolds. This is starting to look like a steamroller. Jay Toole says I'd give up a second and a fourth. First if it's absolutely necessary. So there it is. Some of you giving up an absolute first. Trey Mack says, gotta risk it to get the biscuit. We went over that one, I think. And then Die Fan 101, Super Chat, thank you so much, says, Downing scares me as offensive coordinator. Even if we get Julio, offense comes down to play calling. Again, Downing scares the heck out of me too, man. And that's a really solid point because the Raider fans hate him. And I think he was only there for what? He was there for a couple years. There was a rift between the owner and the coach, Del Rio. I don't think Del Rio wanted to promote him. I think the owner did, if I'm not mistaken. But Downing got one season as the offensive coordinator. He did have, was it Carr got hurt or something like that? It was rocky. He changed up their identity, did different things. I am more comfortable with him being able to kind of do what he knows here and not kind of like, I think that's probably why he got the gig here. I really do. They want to keep the train going. They want to bring in that, they don't want to bring in somebody to change everything up. They want to just use the same system and move forward with what's working. Remember, the new Falcons GM from New Orleans, first year, wants to make a splash. He's already put it out there. He wants first round pick. So chances are, reading between those lines, this thing's probably going to continue on in the summer. I mean, this could even play out. Atlanta's got to be scared, though, because this thing could play out to the fact where they're waiting for an injury. And then some kind of injury happens, and then maybe a team will overpay, but it could end up biting them where the more and more towards the season, maybe some other guys get released. Maybe some other teams come out and are willing to trade a wide receiver that's maybe not as good as, obviously, Julio Jones, but maybe it's somewhat comparable. I mean, at least younger. Like, for example, maybe the Bears come out with Allen Robinson, as you just talked about. Well, now what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? So maybe now the second-round pick goes to a third-round pick. So Atlanta's got to be very wary how they want to handle that. But, man, that is interesting. The Titans, according to Schultz, very consistent with their push, but they're not willing to overdo it. So I don't know. That seems like, hey, they're willing to give up as maybe a player. I mean, which player would you give up for the Titans plus a second-round pick has been reported. But it doesn't seem like they're willing to cross the line for the first one. Mahir says, if we don't get him, I'm going to be ticked off. Weston says, I believe our defense can really help us. I agree. I'm really liking our defense. Again, I've said Farley, I'm super pumped. I think by the end of the year, he's going to be a true number one. I think we got another super chat somewhere. Lil Wildell says, solid floor, super high ceiling, first round worthy. Would you guys be willing? I'll do a poll question after the show to be willing to give up a first round pick. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've been kind of going up and down on this. On one point, I'm saying, okay, our pick's probably going to be late 20s. But as I made my point earlier, you can't guarantee life. So, every day, you just never know. So for me personally, this thing could easily, like I said, be a late first round pick. But if there's an injury that happens here or there, I could see it being early. And the thing that would just destroy me is to go into next season where you're a little bit with the cap. Cap's going to go up a little bit, but how much we don't know. I mean, the ceiling's going to be, the height, I should say, or the ceiling's going to be 208. We don't know what the floor is going to be yet. So they're still kind of talking about that. But I just feel like Derrick Henry the next 2 years, that's what I keep going back to. Derrick Henry, he's probably only going to be able to give you, I know the guy works out insane. I do. But, I mean, when you're just looking at it and you're looking at history, Derrick Henry for the next 2 years is going to be okay. Derrick Henry's going to be, he's not going to turn into Chris Johnson after he got that deal and then it kind of just disappeared for the most part. Derrick's going to be solid, okay? And he's going to be a very vital piece. Ryan Tannehill, I think this offense is perfect for him. I do not see, now, yes, Downing is an issue. You guys made a great point with that. But I just don't see him tailing off either. Now, he might not have as great of a year this year as last year because if the wide receiver core, if we don't lay in Julio Jones, and these guys don't pan out, if Reynolds misses, we swing and miss with him, and if we swing and miss with Des Fitzpatrick, he turns into like a Taywan Taylor of some sort, and he kind of has ups and downs and ups and downs. This team, and the tight end situation, losing Jonnu Smith, this team might impact Ryan Tannehill for not having a good season, but it doesn't mean Ryan Tannehill's not a good quarterback. I think next year they'll come back, but that's the issue. So if those things all go awry, next year we come back and we don't even have a number one pick. But the Titans, as you said, got to be willing to risk something to get something. And the way this roster's set up, they gutted the offense to improve the defense. Here's a chance to add back to the offense. I would do it. There it is. I'd do it. So I'm not changing my mind. I've been talked into it, but you got to upload willing to give up a number one pick tomorrow, or I should say post June 1st, to acquire Julio Jones. I went ahead and said it. I don't feel bad about it. I've already told you, right? I'm willing to risk to get a guy who I feel at 32. Again, I've went through the stats with you. I've went through, Steven, thanks for subscribing. I've went through the injuries. If you want me to do it, I'll do it again. But really, there's only been 2 years out of the 10 that he has missed a lot of time. I think it was 2013. He missed 11 games. In 2013, so 2020, he missed some games. He missed, 7 games, right? So I really feel like this is worth the risk. Injury concerns, I'm just not buying it just yet. Again, if you're worried about the longevity of his contract, 3 years, $38 million, remember, year 2, 11.5 against the cap. You could get rid of $2 million you would lose if you cut him or you release him, or which is the same thing, or trade him, right? So I do want to throw that out there to you. So again, got a few more oh my goodness. Mrs. Kinsey in the house. Miss Kinsey in the house. Shout out to you. Thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. And by the way, I love the jersey. Love the jersey. Number 12. Yes, right? So I think this, and we've went through this. I've brought up Mason because I really do, earlier in the show, I really do feel like there's a reason, right? There's a reason. I know Mason's story, God's plan, all that. I know that, like, there's a reason right now what's going on down in Tennessee, why they brought him back. They didn't bring anybody else back, but they decided to bring back Mason again. But the one thing that does put a wrench in this thing is you bring in Julio Jones. I mean, what's going to happen now with the roster? That's the only downside, because you guys know how much that I love Mason Kinsey. And I'll tell you up front, like, when we've reached out to multiple Titans, okay? We've reached out to undrafted guys. We've reached out to drafted guys. We've reached out to veterans. We've reached out to, crying out loud, we've reached out to a lot of Titans. And the only one willing to come on Titan Upload when we were, under 2,000 subscribers even, was Mason Kinsey. I mean, that means a lot. And he came in and he gave up like 30 minutes of his time just to be with us and hang with us, right? I've been trying to reach out to other guys. Mason's been the only one willing to come on this show and hang out with us. So, again, shout out to Mason Kinsey, and thanks so much for the super chat. Again, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Like I said, there's got to be a reason they brought him back to the Titans. There's got to be. They didn't bring anybody else back from the practice squad. I'm sorry, not from the practice squad last year, but anyone else who was released last year. They didn't bring any of those guys back, but they did bring him back. DJ Rex says, I wouldn't do a first rounder. Hopkins didn't get a first. No, he didn't. That I don't know, but DJ, does that mean, is that more of a knock on the Texans though? Because the Texans are just insane. I mean, I just kind of think that's just the Texans, but I could be wrong. But that is a very good point. I don't know. Upload, their cap situation is looking terrible. The quicker they trade Julio, the better. They barely sign their draft picks. And again, yes, if nobody's going to come to the table and give a first round pick, which apparently no one did before the draft, and they're certainly not going to do it now after the draft, you wouldn't think, then yes. And that's why, are the Titans going against them? You know, I cannot blame John Robinson for putting his foot down and say, I'm only willing to give up a second. And then somebody swoops in like the Ravens and gets them for a first. I can't get on Robinson for that. But what I'm telling you is this. Knowing our situation, and if Atlanta says, hey, we are willing to trade, only if this is happening. If Atlanta's saying, hey, we are willing to give you Julio Jones for a first-round pick, I'm sure Robinson will come up with some creative thing where maybe they do what the Colts did, right, with Wentz. Maybe it's one of those situations, you know, if he plays so many games, a 2 turns into a 1. John Robinson, I guarantee stinking whatever. I guarantee it happens. John Robinson will give up. It will be some kind of creative thing. You know, when we got DeMarco Murray, it was flip-flopping fourth-round picks. We talked about Cooper. We were going to give you a first-round pick, but we want you to flip-flop second-round picks because Oakland was picking earlier in the second round. We were picking later. He wanted to flip-flop that and give us a more of a advantage in the second round. So he's been creative with the way that he comes up with doing things. He got rid of a second-round pick for a guy that the Eagles were probably going to cut. And you're like, why is he doing this? Gosh, how much did Kelly give us? Dennis Kelly was phenomenal for us. He bailed us out on a lot of times. So, again, I trust John Robinson. I feel like he's going to be able to maneuver something here. But don't be shocked. And I guarantee it's going to be something. If the Titans do land him, I just don't see it's going to be a straightforward first-round pick. There's going to be some kind of creative stuff to it, you know? I mean, even when he got rid of Isaiah Wilson this year, we flip-flopped sevenths. So we got Miami's 7th this year, and they got our 7th next year. Like, it wasn't just the 7th-round pick. Like, he's going to be willing to hopefully do something. When he brought in Ryan Tannehill, he's another one. Got Ryan Tannehill for a 4th-round pick. 4th-round pick. And I believe the Titans got something, some kind of draft capital in return as well. And they ate most of that contract for us. You can't underestimate some of the teams in desperation. The Titans aren't the only team who could use Julio Jones. Great point, Jay. That's why I'm saying if all it takes is a first-round pick right now, and Atlanta said, hey, give us that first-round pick. He's yours. I'm signing. That's it. And just trust the process. Just trust the process that it's going to work out. You're going to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be worth it. And good for them. They get a 32nd round, or they get the 32nd pick in the first round. And the Titans end up winning the Super Bowl. Again, that ain't going to matter in the long scheme of things. I mean, for crying out loud, we did last year, first round pick. He's not even on the roster anymore, right? Most of our first-round picks don't even get that second-year deal on this team. Corey Davis, Conklin, neither one got that second-year deal. Dory Jackson, same thing. So I don't want to hear that part of it. I understand first-round picks are very, very valuable, but I also realize we've not won one Super Bowl for crying out loud. We've been to one of them. We've not won one, though. We've been to one. we've been to one. I agree. I do not think he's going to the NFC. Philip says, yes, I would give up a 1 because without hesitation, we're in the worst division now. So basically we can sacrifice a first. If Julio is a bust, we're still in the same position. I love that. So the only wrinkle is if they're making you throw in a player. Now, I'm not doing that. I am not throwing in a first-round pick and a player. Now, you guys have said, well, maybe you can get a guy in return, and maybe they do. Like I said, he's been very creative. Maybe he brings in, I think you guys said Hurst or something like that, but maybe he brings in another position in need plus Julio, or maybe some other draft compensation. So maybe it's Julio and not this year, but the following year, maybe they throw in a high pick, and then we give them a player in a second rounder or something like that. Who knows? But I am not willing to give up a player and a first-round pick. So I will go ahead and say that on the record. Now, if it's just straight up a first-round pick, yeah, I'm okay with that if I can get it done now. I'm not playing the game, though. So don't come to me and say, hey, first-round pick, come on, give us a first round. You're like, okay. And then they keep asking for more and more. Like, there's got to be a drawn line. Like, hey, if you want that first round pick, then this is it. It's over with. We both got what we want. We got Julio Jones. We feel we're one step closer to Super Bowl. We should be really expecting to get there with Julio Jones. And then Atlanta got that first round pick that they wanted. Martin says the move to get Julio is about winning the Super Bowl in the next 2 years. No, this is not a Clowney situation. No way. JS75 got to sacrifice first round pick in order to get good players. Casey and Sherman are both free agents still out there. They could help us a long way. I think Casey can. I'd be calling him. Why you got to bring, I'm sorry, Ken Moore. I'm sorry, man. All right. But because this is Memorial Day, I want to play this one more time for you guys, and then we will close the show. We're at 316, so thank you so much. 208 likes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tighten up that like button. But I want to play this one more time because obviously this is super important to me. And I don't, this show has been a blessing, but let's be honest, this show and a lot of stuff that we enjoy, including football, doesn't happen if people aren't willing to sacrifice their life for this country. So I did want to play this one more time. This is Titan Upload. I just wanted to start off the show by honoring all the men and women of this beautiful country who've given their life for us to keep us safe. So again, thank you. Have a happy Memorial Day. God bless, and tighten up. All right, so we'll finish it up here. You too have a Janet, have a great Memorial and safe Memorial Day to you as well. And just thanks again for stopping by. I can be honest with you. We've only had 2 players, family members stop by this channel, and you were the first. That's how we met. That's how we met you. And then we had Sombrelo's aunt on here one time. But like I said, this is a channel that is been very respectful. Everybody on this channel is extremely respectful. We had some really good conversations. But the bottom line is we love this team. We love to talk about the Titans. And we invest a lot of our time and energy on the Titans. So shout out to you again, and thanks again for the super chat. Salute to my pops. Yeah, salute to all the people that are serving currently and the people who have served in the past. I know I want to shout out my buddy Mike, the Lusky Dog. Shout out to him. Yes, he's a Bears fan. Yes, he's a Cubs fan. But me and him are both Illini fans. And we both love football, but Mike joined the Marines. He was one of my best friends. Man, it was tough to see your best friend join the Marines, and he was gone really for 4 years. We did some really good things in the Marines out in the San Diego, Camp Pendleton area, and he could have stayed with them, but he decided to move back home. And thanks, Aaron, for subscribing. But is an overall good dude, and the military definitely changed his life. And it was a blessing for him. And it truly did make him the man that he is today. So shout out again to Lusky Dog. Even though, like, again, it was painful to see your best friend, a guy you hang out with consistently, and you know what I mean, and see him move all the way across the country. But like I said, he was better. It made him a better person. So a shout out again to him. Riley says, Falcons fan here. Yes, Falcons fans. Let's go. Good luck to your Titans. Julio is worth what any team gives up for him. Don't worry about injuries. He will produce. I just don't want him in the NFC. Thank you so much, Riley, for the comment. Because for every person that is not sure on Julio Jones or brings up injury concerns or say he's going to move down and not be the same player and all those kind of things, there are fans like you from Atlanta that come in and try to say, hey, listen up. Like, seriously, he would produce. He's going to do some good things. So, again, if there's any team that you would love to go to, it would be the Titans. They take good care of you. Look how they've treated Corey Davis since his rookie year. I mean, how many times did he get time off where he basically, had these RGR football fan, thanks for subscribing, where he kind of, was able to, he would go the season and things would be fine. And then all of a sudden he'd be out. And it was just like a precautionary thing. So Chris Frazier says Julio equals Super Bowl. Titans for life. Facebook. Go follow that fan page. A lot of good stuff in there. Chris does an excellent job of bringing in all the stuff that's going on that's considered Titans, and he brings it right to your fingertips. Like, Twitter's fine. It is what it is. Instagram, like I said, Titans Torch, and some of these guys have really good stuff. But if you're on Facebook, I mean, Chris does all the work for you. I mean, seriously, Chris does, he does everything for you, and puts it right out there. So a shout out again to Chris. Again, you guys, awesome. Like, don't forget to tighten up the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Again, we went over 7,000. I didn't want to make it about me tonight. Obviously, Julio Jones and Memorial Day. But at some point next week, maybe we'll come out. We'll do an episode, and like I said, I will maybe put together an appreciation video for you guys for go back in time and just look at the journey. Journey's not over. We're not going anywhere, but it's kind of it's okay to sit back and look at how things have transpired, and because it only makes you better down the line. Like Mr. Titan said, no shortcuts with this channel. We were true to ourselves. We've never changed. We started with family friendly. We're still family friendly. We don't like to flip flop. I don't like to basically come on here and pound my chest. We always make it about us, and we have great conversations, and that's what this is all about. So again, thanks to everyone who super chatted tonight. So again, one more time, I'll throw you guys up there. So I'll start from the beginning. So just kind of go through these. Again, I appreciate all you guys do for the channel. So thanks so much again for the nice donations. I do appreciate that. So thanks again. And we will see you soon. So again, don't forget to tighten up, and happy Memorial Day. Take care. Titan Upload. I just wanted to start off the show by honoring all the men and women of this beautiful country who've given their life for us to keep us safe. So again, thank you. Have a happy Memorial Day. God bless, and Titan.